Wake up, everybody! It's ABA Inside Track Preview Edition, episode 32!
Whoa,
wow. Good morning!
Hey,
Hello,
Rob.
I'm your host, Robert Perry Cruz, and I have my fabulous awake co-hosts.
It's Diana.
I woke up like this. It's Jackie. Hi.
Hey, everybody. If you're new to our show or a returning viewer slash listener, we're ABA Inside Track. We're a podcast slash video preview
sorry.
episoder about behavior analytic research. And this
True.
week, in our preview episode, we're going to be talking about the next week's full-length topic on sleep!
Sleepy.
Sleep! Which is how you would phrase that.
Very sleepy.
Everybody's favorite thing. My favorite thing. Sleeping.
I don't like sleep.
Oh my god.
I never sleep.
love sleeping.
I'm going to stay awake forever.
Nope. I love sleeping. And we're actually gonna bring one of my fun friends on to talk about sleep.
Is it Anne of Green Gables?
No.
Is it Heart of Dixie?
Oh no, but close. Just kidding. Dr. Sandy Jin is gonna come
Hey.
on Skype because she lives in California. She's currently
We're flying around here with our
Yeah,
ABA
right.
Inside Track jet.
we got some cash now. Nope, she's gonna come to the studio via Skype.
The virtual studio.
The virtual studio and talk to us about sleep. She's currently at California State University at Northridge as a professor. And
she's done awesome research on sleep.
she's
It's such an important topic.
right. And so she's gonna discuss her article that she worked on
Mhm.
as a sleep researcher and tell us about all the behind the scenes stuff. So it's gonna be so interesting. And I'm probably gonna ask her a ton of infant sleep questions. Just so you know.
Be ready, Sandy.
Yeah, Sandy, be ready. So you guys should really, really tune in for this next episode.
If you were about to turn this off and not listen anymore, don't do that. That's a mistake.
Right.
Mistake. Biggest mistake of your life.
And just so you're prepared for our full-length episode on sleep with Dr. Sandy Jin, let me tell you what 2 articles she recommended that we read and discuss with her.
I keep bumping the table, that's why.
Stop doing that.
I know, I'm
It's
sorry.
unprofessional. How can we afford a jet if you bump the table and
I
shake
know.
our videos,
It's
Jackie?
because
Come on.
my arms are big.
So we have 2 articles that Dr. Jin recommended. The first is The Bedtime Pass, an approach to bedtime crying and leaving the room by Friman, Hoff, Schnoes, Freeman, Woods, and Blum. And that is from the we never read from this journal.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the
It's the
heck.
Archives of Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine.
It says ARC, and I couldn't remember. The Archives of Pediatric Adolescents in Medicine from 1999. Talk about unprofessional. Sorry, everybody.
Right? I
It
just
is also a killer article.
it's so good.
Can't wait to talk about
I
these.
do love the editor's note, just to give you a taste of what this is. You might wonder why we publish a study involving 2 patients, 6 authors, and the intervention of a 5x7 card. The idea is so novel and easy, I hope our readers will try it and let us know if it works for their patients. It's a good article, but I don't know. I feel
The
like
editor's a jerk.
some tells me if your journal has an editor's note where it's like, there's a flip little statement, you need a new job. All right.
No, it's just different.
Yeah,
it's
it's just
different than
different.
what's usually published
Do
in
you
that
usually-
type of journal.
In
I know.
pediatrics, yeah, no, it is.
Would you usually write like a little like, LOL, check out this little thing?
You might need to,
Yeah.
because someone might not read it.
Oh,
They'd be like, "Oh my God, 6 authors and 2. This is not something I need to read."
oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
I don't know much about that journal. All right, well, and then we'll go back to our old friend, the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis, for Dr. Jin's article, An Individualized and Comprehensive Approach to Treating Sleep Problems in Young Children by Dr. Jin, Hanley, and Beaulieu.
Beaulieu.
Beaulieu, I never can pronounce that name. Beaulieu, 2013. Did I say it wrong again?
Yeah, it's okay.
Beaulieu. I'm going to say it all again. Ready? Okay. By Dr. Jin, Hanley, and Beaulieu from the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis, 2013. Man, that's the worst I've ever done on names. I'm sorry,
It's okay.
everyone involved in
It's
this
okay.
research.
Maybe you're tired.
She's
I could be,
she's tired, which I just said. She's tired.
I'm a he. No, and I'm probably tired. At any given moment, we could be doing this late or in the morning, or I could have not slept very much. So.
You don't know because there's no window to
That's right.
show you.
It's
Could be-
neither day nor night.
Could be any time
where
in the
we are.
studio.
It's
Who
like-
knows?
It's like a casino up in this business.
These are timeless.
So those are our articles for next week's full-length episode. Now, let's get into errata, the section of the show where people can send in corrections and errors, and we can also just talk about nice, fun things that we found or that people sent us. So I want to try to redeem myself from those names because that was pretty bad. I'm pretty embarrassed. So I wanted to share a fun kind of a follow-up. So one of our episodes, it was 26, was how to talk to non-behavior analysts. And one of the things that us behavior analysts will often get a lot of flack for is that we only like to talk to behavior analysts. And when we talk to people who aren't behavior analysts, we tend to sound exactly the same as if we were talking to behavior analysts.
We're a little clicky.
Which, P.S., if you're not a behavior analyst and people try to talk to you like you are a behavior analyst, you probably are not enjoying that conversation very much.
We're kind of like the girls on Mean Girls, except we're not
It's
mean.
just incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's tough. So it's a
We're
skill.
working to correct that.
Yes, that we want to correct. And one of our listeners shared an article by Critchfield from the Behavior Analysis and Practice Online Edition 2017, who'd written one of our original articles we discussed. And unfortunately, I cannot find the post or the link that was sent, so I do not remember who sent it at this point. So please send me an email or post on the page telling me that I'm a moron for totally forgetting your generous gift of an article to me. I'm so sorry. But the article is very interesting because it was an article on kind of using acceptable terms. It actually used like how not to use jargon, how to not talk like a behavior analyst, which was sort of the crux of the topic. And so in this article, I'm going to hopefully not butcher it too much because we're not going to do a full length dive. They looked at I think it was the Warren's corpus, which is a kind of an online database that rates words.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like part of your brain.
No, it does sound like that.
The
Doesn't
Warren's
it?
corpus.
Broca's area, yeah.
Okay.
You're thinking like Wernicke's.
Yeah.
No, but it's a chart that has people kind of rate words, and so they have a scale. So you've kind of got your x-axis or y-axis, and it's sort of motivating. Unmotivating is at the origin to motivating, and then unpleasant is at the origin to pleasant is at the top of the y-axis.
Oh, cool.
Might have been vice versa. And people will rate words based on how they sound. So do they sound motivating but unpleasant? Do they sound motivating and pleasant? Do they sound unpleasant and unmotivating? And so they put in a whole bunch of general science terms. They put a bunch of terms that we use in our clinical talk, that we use in behavior assessment, and then words that have to do with sort of general behaviorism terms. So what are we going to talk about when we're talking about the basics of behavior analysis? And there were some words that were found to be really good, like mastery and target both hit that quadrant of pleasant and motivating.
Oh,
so if you're using mastery and target, I use target all the time. It's actually a really good one to use because it motivates people and they find it pleasant.
Yeah, I often replace objective with teaching target.
Mm-hmm. There you go. You're doing something that's both motivating and pleasant to hear. There are also a number of words that were not found to be pleasant or to be motivating. Words like discriminate and consequence. Which, P.S., if you're talking about behavior analysis, you've probably used the words discriminate and consequence quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so those were kind of on the crap end of the scale.
To put it scientifically.
So overall, words that we use in kind of clinical language and in assessment, they did okay. If you look at the average number of words that people found, I think rousingly unpleasant was the term of the graph. So words that people really, really don't like, those are below the sort of the average of just every English word that was in that lexicon. General science terms were also pretty low. But words related to just to general behavior language, those were way above the norm in terms of rousingly unpleasant.
Huh.
So the article does go
Rousingly.
So the article goes
That's a
into
good
more
word.
depth about the idea of, that doesn't mean don't ever use these words, but why might we as behavior analysts want to think about when we use certain words? And I thought it was a great article. I know Dr. Ricciardi, who works out here in the New England area, wrote a really nice sort of editor post on one of the Babbitt conferences talking about, hey, we need to remember to not just use behavior analytic terms all the time, especially when we're dealing with families. And it's one of those topics that, you don't want to get sloppy as a behavior analyst and just start using words like mind file and feelings. But at the same time, should
Feelings
you
are
be
real.
using feelings? No, I know feelings are real. But should we be using all our most precise, fancy terminology at all times? And at least according to most people I talk to and this article now, no, because most people hate those words and will not listen to us.
So instead of discriminate, if we're talking about discrimination training, I use learning to learn skills.
Oh,
And then instead of consequence, I often use feedback.
that's good. Okay. So
That's just me.
yeah, so a nice article. It's on the Behavior Analysis in Practice website from 2017 by Critchfield and a bunch of other folks.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Rob.
Well, thanks to, I'm so sorry, I don't remember who that did.
Yeah, please write in if
I'm
you
sorry.
provided us with that article, because that was fascinating, and we really appreciate it.
So, I mean, maybe we'll go into it more in depth if we do another kind of a follow-up
Right.
Cool.
We probably will.
at some point.
It's a good topic.
Okay, checking our notes. So, why don't we move into some emails that we got? And so I'll pass the. Did you have them up, Dan, or you want me to?
I don't.
I'll pass over the old email machine.
Thank you. All right, so I have 2 emails I'm going to review. The first one is from listener Allison. Allison said, "Hello. In episode 6, which was our pairing episode with Dr. Amanda Kelly, you mentioned a future episode on condition motivating operations. I was wondering, was that still a future possibility? I love your podcast. They allow me to further my knowledge base while driving down the road." She says, "I teach test prep courses for the BACB exam and often share your podcast with students who want to hear more on a topic because I love the way the 3 of you make ABA fun. Thank you."
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
CMOs are a great topic and one that could benefit greatly from a dose of ABA inside. Thanks for being awesome and keeping my commute safe. Thank you so much, Allison.
Thanks, Allison.
And you know what? You're totally right. We did say 26 episodes ago that we would do an episode on condition motivating operations, or CMOs. And you're also right that we haven't done that yet. So we should do it.
CMOs are one of those topics that...
We will.
Yeah.
I have some articles that we're ready that we're gonna do. It's summertime, so we have a little more time. So within the next few episodes, you'll see them.
Yeah,
But
it's been on the list,
Right.
but we just need to cross it off the list.
It's one of those we come up with and we're like, all right, what do we got? Oh, no, we're busy this week. So let's pick something we kind of know a little about. CMOs? No, that's too much reading. That's too much thinking. We'll come back to that. So it sort of keeps getting bumped.
But to tide you over, you should read the Langthorne and McGill article in Behavior Analysis and Practice. I believe it's 2009, called "Tutorial on the Concept of the Motivating Operation and Its Importance to Application." It's one of my most favorite of all articles talking about CMOs.
We should do that article then.
We probably will.
Why don't we do that?
We'll do that one
Yeah.
and then 2 others.
We're planning in real
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
folks.
So
Yeah, now
that's
you've
a good
all-
one.
That's how the magic happens, just like that. All right, and then I'm going to read you guys a portion of another email from listener Matt. Matt says, "Hi, ABA Inside Track. I'm a big fan. Appreciate the podcast and couldn't be happier that I can expand my knowledge of ABA while driving in and out of work every day. It certainly makes traffic not the worst thing in the world. I also enjoy the silliness and pop culture references to break up all the behavioral jargon." Very cool. And then he says he wishes he could give more direct feedback, but often he's driving, so it makes it a little difficult. But he did want to write specifically that he enjoyed the transition episode, part 1,
Yay!
which is episode 13 with Dr. Peter Gerhardt.
He's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. He says, "I'm a BCBA in a public high school, so I loved hearing him talk so confidently about what he likes to see out of the young adults he works with. That they move quickly in lines when paying for something, that watching Thomas the Tank Engine is okay during free time, even for older students, and that he aims for a 5-second inter-response time when working on vocational tasks." And he has a lot of other great things to say, which I really appreciate too. But thank you very much for writing in, Matt. And we also, I think that might be my favorite episode as well, because I love hearing Dr. Gerhardt talk, and also that's just such an important topic that I think all of us as behavior analysts should be considering if we're working with the developmentally disabled population, is that there is this impending crisis of all of these students who've been in our education system who are about to transition out of that system and really don't have a lot of resources available to them moving forward. So if any listeners out there haven't listened to episode 13 and 14, it's a 2-part series on transitioning to adulthood. I highly recommend it. It's got a lot of good food for thought.
And also, if you do love Dr. Peter Gerhardt, he is going to be giving a talk on sexuality in ASD on June 23rd from 5 to 7 p.m. at Regis College.
Cool.
And it's $30. And
He's a great speaker.
He's a really good speaker. You get light snacks, a.k.a. brownies and cookies and maybe croissants. Because I do the shopping. Croissant. So you can sign up at regiscollege.edu. Go to the Fine Arts page, and it's Season at a Glance. So you should definitely check it out because that's a very cool topic. And he's a super cool speaker.
Yeah. That is a topic. I mean, if you've heard his name, it's because you may have heard him talk on the subject of sexuality and ASD. If you have not had a chance to actually then see the talk, please do. I think I've seen him talk three times now, and then we actually got to interview him. So even more in depth. And every time there's something new, there's some, whether it's a funny anecdote to sort of add to the learning base he brings, or just a topic that you didn't even know was something that you probably should be thinking of.
Right.
I mean, anyone who's working, Dr. Gerhardt brings up the 5-year rule. If there's a skill that you think needs to be mastered in the next 5 years, start working on it right now, which means that those of you who are working with adults, so in public schools, so anywhere from 17 or 16 to 22, when special education services end, certainly you would want to be listening to this. But also anyone who's working with kids, 10, as young as 10, you want to be listening to this because you need to be thinking about these skills. Don't just be like, well, I think we're going to learn about, this new vocabulary having to do with science. Like, maybe that's not a good topic, even at 10 years old. Know your learners, know who you're working with, but you do need to be thinking about, well, they're going to need to know about sexuality, as weird as it is to talk about. They're going to need to know about independence and routines. They're going to need to know about community skills, which really you just don't see come up very often at any age past. They're in the post, oh man, they're over 18. We should probably teach them how to go out in the community now. Whoops. Yeah. I know most schools are getting much better at that than they used to, but still, you can do a lot more at younger ages.
Yeah, so come and listen to him June 23rd, 5 to 7 p.m. You can see me. I'll be there. Eastern time. Western Massachusetts.
I know that that's a series of episodes.
Western Massachusetts.
Oh, I thought you said Western.
I probably did, but I meant
Don't
Western.
go to Western Massachusetts.
Don't do that.
The wrong place. No. I know those are a pair of episodes that we did a long time ago. I think possibly before anyone listened to our show.
Yeah.
It was late August 2016.
Yeah, I mean, maybe no one listens to the show still, and we're just talking to ourselves right now.
Who knows?
But
it's okay.
In any case,
we're just sitting here in a box void of time and space.
Those are the two
Twilight
episodes
Zone.
that I think when we talk about, oh no, what if we run out of time this summer with vacations and scheduling, because we do try to schedule out. Those are the two that are going to be the first ones that if we did to do a rebroadcast, those would be the ones we did, because I don't think they're topics that jump out at everyone as much as they really should.
Cool.
Really should. You see my bug eyes? All right. Well, I think that's all we have for emails. So from here at ABA Inside Track, if you've enjoyed the show, please do subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, anywhere you listen to your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter as ABA Inside Track. You can email us at abainsidetrack@gmail.com with any thoughts, feedback, topics that you would like to hear. If you are practicing BCBA, which honestly I'm assuming most of you are, if you're bothering to listen or watch our show, then please note we are actually a continuing education provider, and by listening to our regular bi-weekly episodes, not the preview episodes, those are just sort of for fun and for previewing, then you can actually apply for continuing education credits. So it's a really great way not only to make your commutes more exciting, but also to keep up your knowledge base and also to keep up your certification.
Yep. Those instructions are on the website, and if you're having any difficulty, you can email us too.
Well, that's all the time we have for our preview. Thanks, Diana. Thanks, Jackie.
Thanks,
you
Rob.
bet, Rob.
We're looking forward to another episode with another star-studded guest, and we're like,
bet, Rob.
There's no stars in the sky of behavior analytic research because they're all here at the ABA Inside Track studio.
Where it's like the Twilight Zone.
That's why it really is dark outside.
It really is.
Yeah, really.
Very dark.
All right, we'll be back next week with Dr. Jin and Sleeeep. But until then, keep responding.